Many of us Tesla investors voiced concerns when we heard that the head of Dojo, Ganesh Venkataraman, had left Tesla, likely let go, and that Peter Bannon was promoted to take his place. The next day, we heard yet another departure of Tim Zaman, Tesla's AI infrastructure and AI platform engineering manager. Is this an exodus? Is this a sign that Dojo is suffering? Today, we'll watch video of Ganesh and Peter, and we'll watch Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who believes Bannon is the right choice. It's my belief, personally, that it's not that Dojo's in trouble, but rather that Elon Musk is demanding a sense of urgency. So today we have Jeff Lutz joining us. He's a head of supply chain, a C-level executive, and also quality officer running several factories. And so he's a great person to ask these questions. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, great to be with you, Herbert.
So this is something that was bothering a few of the Tesla investors. They thought that they're saying that, this must mean that Dojo is in trouble. What's your initial take on this as we report what this is happening?
Yeah, my first take is, and I believe Dojo 1 is fully designed and it's in this production phase, and that's what they're doing right now. Is they're ramping. They've ordered silicon for Q4 of this year. They've got silicon ordered all the way through next year on Dojo 1, and they're designing Dojo 2. So we have to break this thing up. Dojo 1 is going to ramp. That's designed. It's got a performance criteria, and that is in production, and that's scaling. And a lot of the work to design the infrastructure, obviously to design the silicon, has been done, way in arrears, and it is done. So now where Tesla's focus from a design perspective is on Dojo 2, and then taking that performance to the next level so they can continue to take their cost structure down, they can continue to take their footprint down, and they can continue to improve their performance.
Okay, let's report on what we're actually seeing here. So we got Tesla's Dojo supercomputer head exits and blow to efforts. He's replaced with Peter Bannon as the project lead, made to handle data, train autonomous driving software. Right. So basically what you were just saying. Now in this article, they're saying it's a setback to the automaker's efforts to develop self-driving technology. It could certainly well be, because now we know that FSD version 12 is really compute constrained, not people constrained anymore, develop constrained. So Venkataraman was leading Dojo for the last 5 years. And then he apparently left last month. So it wasn't just recently. Peter Bannon, he was formerly of Apple. He was currently running, I think, the low voltage division for Tesla. So it's a big deal. So this is Bloomberg's take on it. Let's watch Mark Gurman and see what he says on this topic.
I've been working on a supercomputer codenamed Dojo, and this computer has a processor. It's very advanced. It competes with the high-end processors that a lot of the companies like Apple, AMD, NVIDIA, et cetera, are working on right now. And this is allowing them to train the AI data necessary to repair the autonomous car functionality that they've been working on for their Tesla cars and adding over the past several years. And so the head of that program, someone who is a chip industry legend, so to speak, named Ganesh Venkataraman, he has left. They have parted ways with him. They have put a new person in charge named Peter Bannon. He was a former mid-level chip executive at Apple. He's now leading the program. And obviously, when the head of the program leaves, that means there is some sort of strategy rethink going on, and it is a bit of a blow to the effort. So this is extraordinarily significant news, both within Tesla as well as in the modern processor and AI community.
Yeah, this sounds like a very high-level role here. I mean, what are your thoughts then, Mark, on Peter Bannon, and if he's going to be maybe just an interim position on leading this project, or you really need to start widening the scope and look for somebody new to come in?
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is an extraordinarily senior position. Not only the future of Tesla, but the future of all these car companies and all these technology companies we've been talking about is artificial intelligence and machine learning. And more so at this level, powered by what are essentially supercomputers based on the fundamental technologies that you're getting in chips and phones and tablets and computers at this point, laptops and such. So Peter Bannon is an expert in these ARM-based processors, these custom high-performance, low-power, AI-driven chips. And so that Bannon, in my view, will be the long-term fit here. He has an excellent reputation in both the chip and AI communities. He has the experience needed. Will they miss a beat in the short term? I would assume so, but in the long term, I think this is a fitting replacement for.
Okay, so that's Mark Gurman, and he's saying that Peter Bannon is going to be a long-term replacement. Peter Bannon was already in the top executive level in charge of low voltage, so that's the 48-volt architecture. It's fantastic, right? What's your thinking?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great reputation in the community, and he, like you said, he did the whole 48-volt architecture. He did the inference computer that's in 5 million Teslas right now, doing all the self-driving. I mean, he did the self-driving computer inside of the car. So, I mean, he's got a lot of the interior, the design credit and leadership credit, him and his team, for what's inside of a Tesla, both for full self-driving and now the whole communication architecture, the 48-volt architecture, again, on the, on the hardware side. And, yeah, so as I watched that Bloomberg clip, was some parts of it were a little bit, I don't know, clownish. They had the bot dancing from the original unveil that Tesla announced that they were doing. I just didn't understand how the visuals connected with what was going on in what they were actually saying. But I've always viewed Pete Bannon as actually being more senior. And I think this is great for Tesla. Remember, Tesla is continuing to hire and fill out these teams. This talent is extremely constrained in the industry, and Tesla is a magnet both for new hires, out of school, as well as for people in the industry that want to make a significant change and make it, kind of make a product that's revolutionary. They come to Tesla, they come to SpaceX, and Elon has a way of moving people into the right roles. So, and he's been there for 7 years. It's not like he's a new person that they're trying out, and he's got a long history prior to this. I'm very comfortable with the move. It sounds like the other prior gentleman was removed. So, question is like, what was going on with Dojo 2? Are there performance requirements? Is Elon really stepping up what's needed? And it sounds like he is. He's always trying to stay ahead of the curve. Again, really focused on performance, cost, and they want to build the world's biggest supercomputer by the end of next year. So those are lofty goals. And again, the other thing is people need to understand, depending on where you're from and you're watching these videos, in Bay Area companies, this movement is pretty standard. Every couple of years, people are kind of moving, rotating, moving and doing it in a different, going to different things. But if you look at the Tesla bench, they've got significant tenure. But you are going to have movement on the margins. You're not going to have everybody stay in every role, for north of 10 years. So, they've got to be ready for this. And I think one of the keys for Tesla is that bench.
I think that's the point right there. If Ganesh has been there for 5 years, right? So that's not like, it's not like he hadn't been performing, but there is a need for Tesla and for Elon to just bump the game because the competition is fierce. We now absolutely need Dojo to be hitting these massive, unbelievable targets. And so it's less about, is Dojo in trouble from my perspective? I see it the other way. I think that Dojo here's Elon saying, I need this incredible goal. We need to be the person in place. Pete Bannon isn't just somebody that they just brought on board. He had just top level executive, took on major, very successful, roles in 48 volt and other issues he's dealing with. So let's take a look at who Ganesh is, who Pete Bannon is. There was another person who left, Tim Zaman. Then we'll take a look at the bench that Tesla has. So this is Ganesh.
My name is Ganesh, and I lead Project Dojo.
Just wanted to show quickly who he is, but this is Peter Bannon.
I was hired in February of 2016. I asked Elon if he was willing to spend all the money it takes to do full custom system design. And he said, well, are we going to win? And I said, well, yeah, of course. So he said, I'm in. And so that got us started. We hired a bunch of people and started thinking about what a custom design chip for full autonomy would look like. We spent 18 months doing the design, and in August of 2017, we released the design for manufacturing. We got it back in December, it powered up, and it actually worked very, very well on the first try. We made a few changes and released a B0 Rev in April of 2018. In July of 2018, the chip was qualified and we started full production of production quality parts. In December of 2018, we had the autonomous driving stack running on the new hardware, and we were able to start retrofitting employee cars and testing the hardware and software out in the real world. Just last March, we started shipping the new computer in the Model S and X, and just earlier in April, we started production in Model 3.
Okay, I'm not going to play the whole clip. I've done that in a previous show, but this guy started in 2016, right? That's like 8 years ago. He was in charge with FSD. He's in charge with the chip. It's like the perfect person to run Dojo. From my perspective, he probably was pulled off to deal with other programs, but now Dojo became the top priority, bring in the top person. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, let me clarify a couple of things for people. One is Pete Bannon and his team, they're doing silicon design, but you heard him use the word system design. They're focused on all the sensors. You think of like from the skin of the car, think of the cameras, think of all the different sensors that are around the car, and then that system design all the way back into the chip. So you're thinking about crash detection. You're thinking about a number of different things that are logged in a Tesla and data that's used for Tesla to run, for the car to run the way it does, and all the advanced sensors that the car has. That he does all of that system design, and now he just recently did the 48-volt architecture, which is kind of this is a big deal for the auto industry. When you have someone that's capable of doing these game-changing designs, if you look at the FSD, the hardware for computer, I think it runs under 100 watts. From a power consumption perspective, that's unbelievable. And so it's not only that he's done these number of different. I don't know of another inference computer that's driving around in another vehicle with this level of performance and this power consumption. So it's not like he's just cranking these designs out, and it looks like he's got a huge focus on cycle time and getting to market very quickly and being very efficient, which I'm sure Elon appreciates and the rest of the team appreciates. So he's got the speed side of it, very innovative. These are first ofs in the industry. And if you look at what Tesla's trying to do with Dojo, like you have to come back and just simplify things. Why is Tesla doing a Dojo? If NVIDIA makes, inference compute, NVIDIA makes network side compute, why not just buy this from NVIDIA? Well, NVIDIA is charging 75 to 80% gross margins. So Tesla can get a much more product. Obviously, Tesla's not going to charge themselves gross margins, in their own designs. You lop out that whole chunk of gross margin that an NVIDIA would charge for this compute. And this is why Tesla is doing it. Tesla's also doing this for tighter integration between the network side, the client side, being the vehicle itself. And the tighter that integration is, the more cost you can actually take out of the core offering itself, the better you can improve the performance. There is no automaker that's actually doing the full system design that Tesla is doing. So this is very unique in the industry, and Pete Bannon's led this whole unique piece and pulled the whole thing together. So very impressive individual.
Okay, let's report a few more things. So this is Larry Goldberg. He's saying lots of hand-wringing that Ganesh, head of Dojo, has left Tesla. The bench at Tesla is very deep with lots of years behind them. The culture is strong. I maintain a list of the executives I've identified to date. I researched their tenure for this post. Let's take a look at this. This is his table. This table is improving. He has said that there's a number of tiny little mistakes here, so they're improving it. But basically, it's pretty complete. So here you've got Taneja, the new CFO. He replaced the previous CFO. You got Franz, of course, Drew Baglino, Tom Ju, Lars Maravi. This is the powerhouse right here. Martin Vecca is the investor relationship. Rohan, business development. You got the supply chain, Roshan and Karn, the CIO, Pete Bannon. He's been there since 2016. So that's 7 years that he's been there, probably 8 years, probably close to that. David Lau, he's been there 11 years. So this tenure is pretty significant.
Yeah.
And so, 5 years. Ashok is Swami, I guess he left, right? So he's not there anymore. This is an old one.
No, Ashok is there.
Oh, sorry. Ashok is there. Okay, you're right. Jeez.
Yeah.
You're right. Ashok's there.
Whoa.
Okay, so that's the
Herbert's
list.
breaking
Any
more
comments
news.
on it?
No, yeah, he's there. Yeah. This is a deep bench. Remember, Tesla started in the Bay Area, and from a Bay Area perspective, this is, tenure over 5 years is fairly significant. But if you look at these key positions, whether it's obviously the whole heart of the vehicle, the powertrain, and the battery side of that, Drew. You look at the supply chain piece of it, Roshan and Karn, those are significant tenures. Supply chain is a grind of a job. I'm not saying any of these other ones aren't, but if you look at the key positions, whether it's design with Franz, supply chain, again, Drew with core energy side of it, and then David Lau on the software side of it. This is a group that's worked together and literally shipped everything basically since Model S. So they figured out how to work together and how to iterate, how to be faster, how to get product out faster, how to be smarter, how to take cost out. And there's things when you have a group that's worked together this long, a lot of things happen that don't necessarily need to be stated. A lot of things that the team understands what if they're handing something off, if engineering's doing a handoff to the supply chain team, there are things that are understood. Obviously, they have processes, they have tools, they have things that are working, but there's expectations that that earlier deliverables that they're working on for the handoff. These teams intrinsically understand how to work with one another. So I would say if you look at that, that's for a tech, high tech, and then now auto, and you blend those two together, that's a highly tenured team. And under them, you'd have to think that if they've been there that long, that they're also kind of building that team out. Now, Tesla's ramped their workforce up as they've scaled their vehicle product line, and their overall product line. They've ramped that up over a number of years. So, under this, I'm assuming there's kind of the next set of leaders that are going to emerge. So yeah, it's a great bench, very strong bench.
What I like about it is down below says average serve is 9 years. So it's a very strong bench. So we did lose another person, Tim Zaman, Tesla's AI infrastructure and AI platform engineering. He said he's leaving Tesla to go to Google's DeepMind. So this is a real battle out there, getting all the smartest minds. He joined NVIDIA in 2016. He left NVIDIA to go to Tesla in 2019. And then his intuition pulls me to my next venture, right? Joining Google DeepMind. And this is kind of like the photo that he attached to that, which is the Back to the Future kind of.
And if you look at his history, and like what I said earlier, 2016 to 19 NVIDIA, 2019 to 2023 Tesla, these are 3 to 4 years, and people are moving around, and they're gathering more experience. And this is what happens in the Bay Area. It's very different in the Midwest. It's different on the East Coast. And I'm just telling you, this is partly what happens. Again, not to excuse it or push it away. I think Tim's loss is a regrettable loss for Tesla. You and I are only speculating on that, but I believe it's a regrettable loss for Tesla. But these things happen. It's normal. Again, it's not saying it's zero impact, but you really have to go back and focus on the bench that Tesla's building and the tenure of their leadership team. And that's a pretty solid team building a great bench.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your feedback and analysis there, Jeff. Please follow him on X at @TheJeffLutz. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.